Brightening up our Mondays, it's Medical Monday on KRD on News Channel 13 with our own Dr. John Torres.
How are you guys doing?
Hey, good to see you.
It's good to see you guys.
Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend.
Good.
How about you guys?
We had a fantastic one. Now, many people have acid reflux, Dr. John, and it comes with pain and coughing, but there are ways to avoid it without medication, right?
There are ways to avoid it, and that's what we're going to talk about. It's called acid reflux, it's called GERD, it's called reflux, heartburn, has a lot of different names, but it's caused when acid from your stomach enters up into your esophagus. That's your feeding tube. Some symptoms, here's the list: a burning feeling in the chest, some hoarseness, maybe a sore throat. You could also have an intermittent cough. Now, if you have it, then you know how it feels, but there are some easy and natural remedies that could reduce or hopefully even eliminate your acid reflux. First, you'll need to change up your eating habit. Reflux is triggered from having food and a distended stomach. So if you eat at night, especially if you overeat, then you risk having reflux because when you lay down, it makes it worse. You'll also want to adjust the types of foods you're eating. Acid reflux sufferers should avoid these things: fatty meals, carbonated beverages, and drinks high in caffeine like coffee, and yes, we're even talking chocolate. You need to avoid those. So you want to make sure you avoid nicotine altogether, limit alcohol consumption. These are the kind of things that could certainly help. Another thing, don't wear tight clothes, because tight clothes could be adding to the discomfort, puts pressure on the stomach, can push the acid right up there, so you need to be careful with that.
Before we move on, chocolate in moderation is okay.
Chocolate in moderation,
Okay.
small moderation,
that
and you'll know, and for everybody it's different. So
Sure.
people that suffer from acid reflux just need to start eliminating things, and if it doesn't help, then you probably don't need to eliminate that.
All right. Well, the medical field is kind of ruining summer, I think. First, we talked about urine and fecal matter in pools. Now the beach isn't even safe.
I'm an anti-pool. No, not really. I love pools. I love swimming. I love all these things. But if you're going to the beach, you'll just have to live with a little bit of fecal bacteria. The Natural Resources Defense Council put out a report last year that says about 10% of U.S. beaches are actually contaminated with pollution, and that mostly comes from raw sewage. But the assumption was that contamination was actually in the water, but it turns out it's in the sand. That's because the bacteria that makes us sick survives longer on the land than it does in the water. And another recent study finds that digging in the sand or getting buried in the sand is associated with higher cases of gastrointestinal illness. Read that as diarrhea. The EPA says that while most illnesses contracted at the beach are simply unpleasant, they're usually not very serious. You can usually take care of those at home, but it's going to make for a very bad vacation.
Raina has made posters up with your face on it, destroying summer.
That's right.
Keep this man away from our summers, ruining it. Well, there's a new study that says our birth order doesn't really have that much to do with personality, something a lot of people think of. Oldest child is a certain way, middle child.
Where do you guys lie?
I'm the middle child.
I'm the middle child.
Yes.
I'm somewhere.
All right. So, a lot of people believe in this, and it's popular because previous studies on birth order have been with small sample sizes. But the latest one studied 377,000 high school students. It found that firstborns do have slightly higher IQs than their later-born siblings, but we're only talking 1 point higher. That's statistically significant, but it's practically meaningless. Now, firstborns also tend to score higher on certain personality traits like extroversion and agreeableness, but overall, the association between birth order and personality was statistically only 0.02. That's hardly anything. That's well below the level of what we can actually perceive. So to my sisters out there,
They always make fun of the middle child.
They always make fun of the middle child.
Now they have
I'm with you on
nothing
that.
to back it up.
I know.
We'll
Right.
get
You're okay now, Dr. John. I'll take down my posters.
Yeah, we'll get some therapy for both of you, middle childs. Well, Dr. John will join us via Skype on Thursday.
On Thursday. Be here for Skype.
All right, for more summer ruining.
I got to find one more thing to ruin.
All right. Thank you, Dr. John. It's a big day for space buffs, the anniversary of that giant step for mankind. We'll look back at the Apollo 11 mission.